Good morning, sir. Good afternoon and good evening. Also to my fellow classmates and groupmates. This is Chapter 5, Production, Planning, and Control. This is presented by Ms. Joji Andoyo, Ms. Jessa Penanueva, Ms. Era Plaza, and Mr. Ayuban, and also Ms. Gian Niepes. Okay, so in this chapter, we have what we call chapter outline. Chapter outline serves as indication what is inside of the topic or the whole chapter 5, what would be the discussion inside. So here is the topic inside of the chapter 5. So we have 5.1 introduction and meaning, 5.2 need for production planning and control, 5.3 objectives of PPNC, 5.4 phases of PPCNC, 5.5 it is functions of PPCNC, and so on until we reach to 5.13 scheduling methodology, exercises, skills development, and caselets. So my prior group mates will report what is that title all about. Okay, so first is we're going to discuss the 5.2 need for production planning and control. Okay, so production system can be compared to the nervous system with PPC as a brain. Production planning and control is needed to achieve. So first we have effective utilization of firms' resources. Second, to achieve the production objectives with respect to quality, quantity, cost, and timeliness of delivery. And number 3, to obtain the uninterrupted production flow in order to meet customers' varied demand with respect to quality and committed delivery schedule. And number 4, to help the company to supply good quality products to their customer on the continuous basis and competitive rates. Production planning is a pre-production activity. It is predetermination of manufacturing requirements such as manpower, materials, machine, and manufacturing process. And also, Rewilde defines Mr. Rewilde defines that production planning is the determination, acquisition, and arrangement of all facilities necessary for future production of the products. It represents the design of the production system. Apart from planning the resources, it is going to organize the production based on the estimated demand for company's product. It is going to establish the production program to meet the targets set using the various resources. Okay, so what is the advantage of production planning? So it is stated here that it helps the company to supply good quality of products and to the customer on a continuous basis. And also, production planning helps to predetermine or to determine the manufacturing requirements such as the manpower and materials machine. So in this way, it can lower the case. So what kind of it can lower the risk of loss of supply. So next we have a production control. Okay, so what is production control? In spite of planning to the minute details, most of the time it is not possible to achieve production 100% as per a plan. There may be innumerable factors which affect the production system, and because of which there are deviation from actual plan. Some of the factors that affects are, so first we have non-availability of materials due to shortage and etc. Second, plant equipment and machine breakdown. And third, changes in demand and rush orders. So that is very common to us. And then fourth, absenteeism of workers. And 5, lack of coordination and communication between various functional areas of business. So anywhere we are, it is very important to have communication. Thus, if there is a deviation between actual production and planned production, the control of function comes into action. Production control through control mechanism tries to take corrective action to match the planned and actual production. Thus, production control reviews the progress of work and takes corrective steps in order to ensure the program production takes place. The essential steps in control activities are: so first we have initiating the production, second, progressing, and third, corrective action based upon the feedback and reporting back to the production planning. And fourth, we have absenteeism of workers, and five, lack of coordination, communication between various functional business. So, okay, so that's it. And next slide, we have, oh, I'm so sorry. I made, I think a mistake. So, I mean, I copy paste the first word here, and then, so, I'm so sorry. This is alright. The essential steps to control activity. So this is initiating the production, number two, progressing, and number three, corrective action based upon the feedback and reporting back to the production planning. So, okay, we have here. So we have here, I'm so sorry, we have here the 5.3 objectives of production planning and control. So the following are the objectives of production and planning and control. So we have systematic planning of production activities to achieve the highest efficiency in production of goods and services. And second, to organize our production facilities like machines, men, etc. to achieve the stated production objectives with respect to quantity and quality, time, and cost. And number three, optimum scheduling of resources. Fourth, coordinate with other departments relating to production to achieve regular balance and interrupted production flow. And fifth, to conform the delivery commitments. Sixth, materials planning and control. And seventh, to be able to make adjustment due to changes in demand, rush, and orders. So next slide, we have the 5.4.1, the planning phase. So planning is an exercise of intelligent anticipation in order to establish how an objectives can be achieved or a need fulfilled in circumstances which are invariably restrictive. Production planning determines the optimal schedule and sequence of operations, economic batch, quantity, machine, assignment, and dispatching priorities for sequencing. It has two categories of planning, namely, we have prior planning and active planning. So what is prior planning? So here, prior planning means pre-production planning. This includes all the planning efforts which are taking place prior to the active planning. So we have here modules of pre-planning. The modules of prior planning are as follows. So first we have production development and design, in the process developing a new product with all the features which are essential for effective use in the field, and designing accordingly at the design stage. One has to take several aspects to design, like design for selling, design for manufacturing, and design for usage. So second, forecasting is an estimate of demand, which will happen in future. Since it is only an estimate based on the past demand, proper care must be taken while estimating it. Given the sales forecast, the factory capacity, the aggregate inventory levels, and size of the workforce, the manager must decide what rate of production or operate plant over the intermediate planning horizon. So third, aggregate planning aims to find out a product-wise planning over the intermediate planning horizon. And fourth, material requirement planning is a technique for determining the quality and timing for acquisition of dependent items needed to satisfy the master production schedule. And then we have active planning. The module of active planning are process planning and routing materials tools planning, including scheduling, etc. First, process planning. The routing is a complete determination of the specific technological process steps and their sequence to produce products at the desired quality, quantity, and cost. It determines the method manufacturing of products, select the tools and equipments. Analysis, how the manufacturing of the product will fit into the facilities. Routing, in a particular, describe the flow of work in the plant, and it's related to the considerations of layout, temporary locations for raw materials and components, and material handling system. Material planning is a process which determines the requirements of various raw materials, sub-assembles by considering the trade-off between various cost components like carrying cost and ordering cost, sorted cost, and so forth. So we have here the 5.4.2 action phase. So action phase has a major step of dispatching. Dispatching is the transition from planning phase to action phase. In this phase, the worker, in order to start manufacturing the product, the task which are included the dispatching are job order, store issues order, tool order, time ticket, inspection order, move order, etc. The job order number is the key item which is to be mentioned in all other reports orders. Stores issues other give instructions to stores the issues material and manufacturing. So it is very it you can easily understand what is the action phase because all of the details is written there. Then last is we have 5.4.3 control phase. The control phase has the following two major modules: the progress reporting and corrective action. So progress reporting, the progress reporting has data regarding what is happening with the job collected. Also, it helps to make comparison or present level of performance. The first data pertaining to materials rejection, process variation, equipment failures, operator efficiency, operator absenteeism, tool life. So progress reporting, it is regarding about the progress of the performance level of somewhat the workers or the flow of the company. Next, we have corrective action. So corrective action, the task under corrective actions primarily make provisions for unexpected event. Examples of corrective actions are creating schedule flexibility, schedule modifications, capacity modifications, make or buy decisions, expediting the work, pre-planning, and so on. Due to unforeseen reasons such as machine breakdown, labor. So corrective actions, it makes provisions because sometimes we encounter natural disaster like machine breakdown, labor absenteeism without knowing it. So it is unpredictable happening. So with the help of corrective actions, it makes provision for unexpected events. So that's it. So that's all my task and then the following reports will be reported by my co-group mates, and thank you.
5.5 Function and Production Planning and Control. Function and production planning and controlling is classified into three categories. First, pre-planning function. Second, planning function. Third, control function. The pre-planning function, pre-planning into macro-level planning and deals with analysis data is an outline. Amon giniyang, kumbaga, sinugdan pa lang na pagplano nila ng kanilang data, pag-gather ng data nila, na magbuo sila ng isa ka policy based ang demand or ng demand product na kailangan nila i-develop. Planning function starts with tasks to be accomplished. Is specified with the analysis of 4 Ms, among machines, method, materials, and manpower. Tungod sa ning MS, asa di sila nag-accomplish or nag-develop ng pagiging specified ng analysis nila ng kanilang plano sa kanilang production. Control function is effective yung dispatching infection, expediting material controls work in process. So, asa idayag working yung pag-develop ng product. Kahit tungod na on kanan control function, madali lang ma-identify do hain silang tama, do hain yung limit nila na pag-work in process nila. Parameters for PPC. First, material. Raw materials finished part of both out components should be made available requirement and quantities and required in to ensure the contract start and end to end each operation resulting uninterrupted production. So, ang sa diyang mga materials nila na kailangan gamiton, dapat aon gate tanan, tas ngining madayaw yung capacity. Ensure tala nila na correct yung paggamit ng isa ka operation para ampan any interruption na makasira ng pagkuha ng product. Second, machine and equipment. With this, the combination of the machine and equipment really is related to do a detailed the analysis of value production facilities, equipment downtime, maintenance policy, produce procedure, and schedule. So, ang sa diyang detalye nila na available na pagkuha ng product nila, kailangan ang guide mga limitation, maintenance policy, na mga guidelines para dili siray ang kanilang operation planning. Methods. This function is concerned with analysis alternative selection of the best method, consideration, and constraints imposed. So, ang sa di kunuyag kuan, gamit ng mga alternatives. We will see alternatives other na mga extracurricular na kailangan i-adapt nila para lang ma-overcome nila yung pagkuhan ng kanilang operation. Process planning routine. It is concerned with the selection of path and route with the raw materials should be to get transformed into finished product. So, ang sad idayang kung ba fat route agihanan ng pagbuudan nila ng isa ka process. Tas ang kalang guidelines na i-follow. First, fixation of path table giving due consideration of layout. So, i-fix guide nila yung pag-travel ng kalang product. So, ang guide kailangan i-consider na mga layout. Example naman siya ang travel na doon. Tas ang kailangan din i-consider na yung item, amasian. Then second is the breaking down the operation. Define each operation is detailed. Kailangan detalye gayud tanan. Deciding setup time, the process time each operation. So, ang guide time limit ng pag-process ng kalang operation. Estimating. Once overall method, sequence operation, and fixed process sheet and each operation is available that constraints times are estimated. I-estimate sila ng pag-process ng kalan operation para within sa pag-estimate nila, ma-process nila ng madyaw, ma-fix guide nila ng madyaw yung pag-operate ng operation into process na madayaw. Loading scheduling. Scheduling, it is concerned with preparation, machine launch, and fixation starting completion dates for each operation. So, masali na guide yung concern ng everybody na pag-loan skibali, pag-deliver ng mga product or of isa ka product sang within organization kanang fixed guide starting ang guide dates na mas specific kayo na o detailed. Then on kanaan under ng loading and scheduling. First, loading the machines as per the capability and capacity. So, i-check na to yung kakayahan. Kakayahan ng isa ka machine ng pag-operate. Determining with the start completion times for each operation. So, determine kuan kita ng oras para madali na ito ma-determine daw when kita mag-end, kailangan ba na ito ngini ambasian na mga sitwasyon. To coordinate with sales department regarding delivery schedules. So, mag-coordinate kita sa isa ka department regardless sa kanatong pag-deliver ng kanatong product, kailangan ang guide schedules. 7. Dispatching. This execution phase planning. It is the process of setting production activities in motion through release of order and instructions. So, ang sa idagayod yung setting, kumbaga, starting up ng activities, ng pag-release ng mga orders, on sab kan i-follow ng mga guidelines. First, to assign definite work to definite machines, work centers, and men. So, ano yung assign sang mga machines develop lang, tas ano sa work in process ng mga tao. To issue required materials from stores. To issue jigs fixtures to meet available and correct point use. So, kailangan gayud na i-fix gayud na nini available ni na product ang gikan specific value ng isa ka product. Release necessary work orders, time tickets, etc. to authorize timely starts and of operations. So, yung orders guide ng on mga tickets, unauthorized timely operation na when kita mag-start ng kanatong production operation. To record start and finish time of each job on each machine by each man. So, basically, we need to record tangya tapos nato ng oras which work by the machine or trabaho ng utaw. Expecting this control tools keep close observation on the process of the work. So, expecting adi kuno nginiyag close observation dagayad ngini ng pag-work in process ng within machine or sang operation ng utaw. Kay para ma-identify naan yung mga detalye on sabkanan under na included sang expecting. First, identification of the bottlenecks and delays, interruption because of which production schedule may be disrupted. So, kailangan din na i-consider da unahan da ko man na mga kahit-hitabo sang isa ka product, mga damages, or any interruption para yung schedule nila dili ma-interrupt. To advise action, remedies are correcting errors. So, they accept the ideas of everybody which the correcting their errors. So, to see that production rates line with the schedule, ang gayod, di gid mawa yang schedule ng sak production. Inspection is the major control tool. So, amo guide niyang main point para pag-inspect nato ng isa kanang product daon kuwang duwa. To this aspect, quality control, all this separate function, this is very important of the PPC both execution of the current plan and its scope future planning. So, very important gid inspection para ma-enhance nato daonan yang kuwang ta, daonan yang ma-develop ta sang next nato na future planning. Evaluation, this is truly crucial environment and productive efficiency. So, bisa na malisud ay pag-evaluate ng isa ka or product sa kanaton organization, but we need to do very well tungod ng maging productive at maging efficient yung kanaton production. Operations planning and scheduling system. Operation planning and scheduling system concerned with the volume, timing of outputs, the utilization and operation capacity, derived levels for competitive effectiveness. So, within the planning and operation planning and scheduling system, development siya ng proper timing outputs na ma-utilize nato the pilayang kakayahan sa operation para maging competitiveness kita at maging effectiveness yung kanato pag-come up ng plano, pag-schedule ng kanatong product. Ang components of operation planning for a scheduling system among in first, the business plan. It is the state of organization of varieties of business activities for the coming 18 months, usually expressed in the term outputs in the volume sales for its various product groups, a set of individual products that share and consume common blocks and capacity and the manufacturing process. So, ang sa tinatabakitan, daw kita yung decrease or decrease how yung increase ng kanatong production operation. Aggregate production output planning, this process of determining output levels of products group overcoming 6 to 8 month weekly or monthly basis. So, asa di kita makadetermine ng kanaton pag-production planning organization within this 10 months, a week, or monthly, or sa kada buwan na masayo din nato da pilay yung kanatong increase or pilay ga decrease. Aggregate capacity planning, it is the process testing the feasibility of aggregate output plans and evaluating overall capacity utilization. So, sa aggregate planning, adi na ito masin na pila yung capacity, pila gid yung kakayahan pag-implement ng isa ka output na saydo na ito sa overall, daw pila yung utilize naan. Master Production Scheduling or MPS is a scheduling showing a week by week how many of each product must be produced according to the consumer order to demand forecast. So, ang sa ligay mas yun na daw kada week yang kanatang production na i-produce. Resource requirement planning is the process of testing feasibility master production scheduling in term capacity. So, asa di kita, yaka, masayudan kayo daon pila yung production na produce, da pila sabiyang kakayahan niya na aon. Material requirement planning, it is a system, scheduling time, phase material, requirement or releasing material, and receiving material that enable that master production schedule to be implemented. So, ang sa didagay na ito, ma-determine yung scheduling na mga gagamitan na gamit na ito, na i-release na ito, tapos i-receive sa kanaton production within the organization. Capacity requirement planning. It is the iterative process of modifying to the MPS or planned resource to make capacity consistent with the production schedule. Shop floor control involves the activities that execute and control shop operations, namely loading, sequencing, detailed scheduling, and expediting of jobs production. So, shop floor control kuno, adi kita magkasayo na ito yung sequencing, kasunod-sunod na mga detalye in order to provide our product very well to the consumer. Loading, each job consumer order to have its unique the product specification and hence it is the unique through various work center is facilities. So, ang sabi kita, masayo na nato yung uniqueness ng product na may specified nato na ma-develop within the organization na i-produce nato. Sequencing establish the priorities of job sequences, waiting lines, and the work center. So, ang ka process na kailangan masunodon na ngini yung mauna, ngini yung huli. Detailed scheduling, detalye gayod yung tanan, pag-start pa lang daan, pag-start ng process, until pag-end ng process, bisan work ni ng machine or work ng isa ka utaw. Expected time is the process of tracking jobs, progress, and taking special action to move it through the facility. So, expected din, amo din yung process na pag-tracking or pag-process ng pagbutang na sang tracking, pag-deliver din ng product. Input-output control. Related to the first activities to monitor actual versus planned utilization of work center capacity. So, amo dagad niyang kanatong output and input na visual monitoring, actual lagay nato na pag-monitor na utilize nato yung kakayahan ng kanatong product. Aggregate planning, it is the intermediate term planning decision. Aggregate planning strategies, variables of the production system of labor, materials, and capital. These controllable variables institute pure strategy which fluctuation, demand, and uncertainties the production activities can be accommodated by using the following steps. First, vary size of workforce. Output controlled by hiring layout of workers and proportion changes in demand. So, kung madaigay na yung kanatong trabahante, kailangan na to mag-change ng kanatong demand, ng kanatong kakayahan ng sweldo para makontrol na to yung kanaton output na yagawas ng kanaton product. To pila yung kanaton yung income na profit. Vary hours work. To maintain a stable workforce but permit idle time when there is lack, the permit overtime when demand peaks. So, mag-maintain gad-gada ng oras ng kanatong trabaho, mga OT, overtime nato para masilada pila yung kanaton nato ihatag kanila. Vary inventory levels. Demand fluctuation can be much large amount of inventory. So, ang sadi kita, masayudan daw pila yung increase, how yung decrease sa kanatong pag-inventory, daw pila yung yakamang sa kanaton production. Subcontract upward, shift in demand from low levels, consist fluctuation, which can be met using subcontractors to provide extra capacity. So, sa subcontract ko, no, yagkuan siya, yaghanap ganyan siya ng extra capacity or ba panibago na kakayahan para ma-overcome na yung talan na mga consequences na iharap. Aggregate planning guidelines. First, determining corporate policy regarding the controllable variables. Second, use a good forecast as basis for planning. Plan in proper unit of capacity. Maintain the stable workforce. Maintain the needed control over inventories. Maintain the feasibility to change. Respond to demand in controlled manner. Evaluate planning on regular basis. So, sa aggregate planning guidelines, mag-determine kita ng, kumbaga, process na guide na to na ma-develop ta ng madayaw yung kanaton organization, makagain kita, tapos kanaton ma-evaluate ng madyaw do hainyag increase or hainyag decrease yung kanaton kuan, kumbaga, onggid ka na ng mga regular basis na kailangan i-cap up. Master Production Scheduling or MPS, scheduling follows aggregate planning. First, to translate aggregate plans into specific end of terms, aggregate plan determines levels of operate that tentatively balances the market demands with the material labor and equipment capabilities of the company. So, ma-determine natong iniyang kakayahan ng isang company and how they operate very well. Daunan pag-manage ng mga material operation within the machines operation or demand operation for us to develop more. Evaluate alternative master schedule is preferred of trial and error. May computer simulation models available to evaluate alternative schedules. So, they need to prepare trial and error in order for us to evaluate all the alternatives na mga magamit nato ng mga iba na mga alternate na mga schedules. Generate material requirement is forms of basic input material requirement planning or MRP. Generate capacity requirements are directly derived from MPS. Master scheduling is thus prerequisite for capacity planning. Facilitate information processing by controlling load and plant. Master schedule determines when the delivery should be made. For effective utilization of capacity by specifying end requirements, schedule establishes and the loans and utilization requirements, machine and equipment. Material requirement planning, MRP, refers to the basic calculation used by determined product components required from end item It is refers to the broader information system that uses dependence relationship and the control manufacturing operation. So, amo na gayud ngini calculate ng tanan na paghimo nato ng operation na tapos nagdepende kita sa pag-operate do pila yung gagawas ka naton na mga output or mga broader dagad ngini na pag cup up ng tanan ng plano naton. On kanan kuan, yung material requirement planning or MRP, isa ko nang ngini ka technique nag-determine ng quantity, the timing for the acquisition of department demand items and satisfy master production schedule requirements. So, laong pa nga ni ng MRP, isa ko nung ngini ka technique na nag-determine ng quantity ng madayaw na pagkuhaan ng isa ka product within the organization.
So good day everyone, especially to you, sir. So this is the continuation of our report in chapter 5. So today I will discuss the 5.10, the capacity planning. So first, I will define the capacity planning. So capacity planning, it involves planning for the inputs, conversion process, and outputs of production operation. Capacities planning to be carried out keeping in mind future growth and expansions plans, market trends, sales forecasting, and etc. Capacity planning is the first step when an organization decides to produce more or new products. So capacity planning, it is one of the process in production and operation control. It is one of the steps na makita sa future growth ng isa ka product or to produce more product. Then, production managers are more concerned about the capacity of the following reasons. So there are following reasons in how the manager handle this kind of planning. Then, so first, sufficient capacity is required to meet customers' demand in time. So, in production planning, kinahanglan is sufficient yung isa capacity ng isa ka manager to handle or to meet the demand of the product in the customers. Then, second, capacity affects the cost efficiency of operations. So, in this reason is makita yung pila yung mga gastusian ng mga product in terms in sangkanaan operations. Then capacity affects the scheduling system about schedules. Then capacity creation requires an investment. So need in one organization, so need kayod nila ng investment. And then so the next topic is the 5.10.1, the measurement of capacity planning. So the capacity of the manufacturing unit can be expressed in number of units of output per period. So in this measurement of capacity planning, it talks about the pila ka number of units na ma-produce na isa ka product in one organization. So aligned with this, the design capacity is under yan na measurement of capacity planning. So design capacity, it is the planned or engineered rate of output of goods or services under normal or full scale operation condition. So for example, sang design capacity is the cement plant capacity of the sugar factory in 150 tunnels. So it talks about the how much yung ma-produce ng isa ka product per day. So the next is system capacity. It is the maximum output of the specific product. Mix system of workers and machines is capable of producing as an integrated whole. So the system capacity, so it is the actual or even less because of many factors affecting the output, such as actual demand, downtime due to machine, equipment failure, unauthorized absenteeism. Then the next is the license capacity. So it is the regulatory agencies or government authorities. So in this capacity, it talks about how the government have the limitation in the output exercise or yung mga output na panghimuilan is ang guardian authorities nagikan sa mga government. Then installed capacity. It provided at the time of installation of the plant is called installed capacity. So it meaning in a capacity it is talks about the installation of the plant, meaning in that time is in capacity is one of the source in the production in one product. So the rated capacity is the last capacity. It is the based on the highest production rate established by actual trials referred to as rated capacity. So it meaning na capacity is yung base sang high production na produce ng isa ka product. Maybe yan is referred yan as actual kibali. So the next topic, the 5.10.2, the process of capacity planning. So dati measurement doon is process day sub. So capacity requirements can be evaluated from two. So there are two process na i-evaluate, the long-term capacity and the short-term capacity strategies. So the long-term capacity, it is the requirements. This is more difficult to determine because the future demand and technology are uncertain. So dili nila ma-predict yung future demand and also the technology. So the following parameters will affect long-range capacity decisions. So these are the long-range capacity. The first is the multiple products. So multiple products is the companies produce more than one product using the same facilities in order to increase the profit. So the multiple product is isa dayaan ka product but multiple yung pag-process naan para mapadali. Then the phasing capacity. So the high technology industries and in industries where technology developments are very fast, the rate of obsolescence is high. So in this capacity is it talks about how the technology create, because some of the technology is ihimuyaan para isa mapadali yung isa ka pag-process na isa ka product. Then the phasing out capacity, it is the outdated manufacturing facilities cause excessive plants closure and downtime. So this phasing out here is done with humanistic way without affecting the community. So it have the options to make alternatives for men, like shifting them to other jobs or to other locations. So meaning dapat yung isa ka workers in this capacity is multitask yang mahimo, meaning skanahain yan ibutang na area is mahandle naan. Then the short-term capacity strategies. So the managers often use forecast of product demand to estimate the short-term workload the facility must handle. So the short-term capacity strategies are inventories. So inventories, the stock of finished goods during slack periods to meet the demand during peak period. So inventories, it is talks about the finished goods of the product during in the peak period. Then the backlog, the willing customers are requested to wait in order to fulfill after peak demand. So Backlog is talks about how the willingness of the customers await in order to fulfill its demand. Then the employment level, so additional employees during peak demand period can be demand decreases. So employment level, it talks about how yung isa ka organization, how sila once na mag-hire sila ng mga more employees. So pag more employees, more isabyaan na makadikris ng isa ka demand. So dapat yung employment level is average lang. Then employment training. So employment training, so multi-skilled employees through training so that they can be rotated among different jobs. So as what I've said a while ago, employee training is multi-skilled, meaning di lang yang yaan na field or area yaan matigam. So dapat sa lahat na area para if manggaling mag-need sila ng isa ka worker is madali dayaan mapulihan, or meaning madali dayaan maka-sub si anakuan. For example, yung isa ka worker is leave. So tapos si ana adlaw is need nila niyan. So ikaw na skillful, if matigam ka si handle na area, so di na sila mag-worry. And then subcontracting, so hires the capacity of other firms temporarily to make the component parts or production, meaning sub lang, not totally na magdugay. Then the process design, so change job contents by redesigning the job. So it talks about how to change the job contents in one production. Then the 5.11, the next topic is the routing. So it may define as the selection of path which each part of the product will follow while being transferred from raw materials to finished products. So this topic, it talks about how the raw materials turns into finished products. So routing involves the following steps. So type of work to be done on product or its part. Then operation required doing the work. Then sequence of operation required. So yung mga sequences is also required. And the operation of the product is dapat gayo doing some work time. Then where the work will be done, if how work will be done, meaning kung doon na adlaw gasugod, so dapat mga Friday and saan matapos da. Then proper classification about the personnel required and the machine for doing the work. So meaning the type of people na mo handle siyan is dapat yaka-classify diyan sa kanang skills. Then the 5.11.1, it is the techniques of routing. So the various routing are route card. So this card always accompanies with the job throughout all operations. So this card is ang sinidatanan niya ka butang yung mga need ng isa ka operations. In the worksheet, it contains, the first is the specification to be followed, the instruction regarding routing every day. Then the route sheet, it deals with no specific production order. So why order na yak specific sin ina worksheet. So the move order, it prepared for each operation as per sheet. And then the next is the 5.2, the scheduling. So it can be defined as prescribing of when and where each operation is desired to be performed. So meaning we all know that scheduling, it is the mga schedule if when or kan-o and then hain sila mag-start ng operation. Then the 5.2.1, the principle of scheduling. So the principle of scheduling is composed by three principles. The first is the principle of optimum task. So scheduling tends to achieve maximum efficiency. Task sizes are small and all tasks of same order magnitude. So in this principle, is it talks about the optimum, or talks about how the small and large sizes of the order of the one's product is efficiency. And then it in this principle also, it tends to achieves the maximum efficiency of the scheduling in producing a product. Then the next is the principle of optimum production plan. So planning should be such that is emphasis as an equal load on all plants. So it talks about the optimum production plan. It should be equal in all plannings in producing a production. And then the last is the principle of optimum sequence. So scheduling tends to achieve the maximum efficiency when the work is planned so that work hours are normally used the same consequences. So in this principle, so meaning dapat if mag-work is dapat in exact time para isab, normally matapos ang operation in the exact time also. So that's all my report, and thank you for listening.
Good morning, everyone, and good morning, sir. By the way, my name is Melvin Ayuban from BSM 3. I'm the last reporter of Group 2. The topic is talk about production, planning, and control. My assigned to report is scheduling. Scheduling, it can be defined preserving of when and where each operation necessary to be performed. Principle of scheduling. There are three types of principle scheduling. The principle of optimum task, principle of optimum production plan, of principle of optimum sequences. First is the principle of optimum task. Scheduling tend to achieve maximum efficiency when task size are small and all tasks of same order of magnitude. Of principle of optimum production plan. Planning should be such that it imposes an equal load on all plant. Principle of optimum sequences. Scheduling tend of achieve of maximum efficiency when the work planned so that work hours are normally used in the same sequences. Input to scheduling. Performance standard. The information regarding the performance standard time to operation help to know the capacity in order to assign required machine hours to the facility unit in which loading the scheduling is to express effective capacity of the work center, demand pattern, and intent to flexibility to be provide to rush order. Overlapping an operation individual job schedule. Scheduling strategy. Therefore, scheduling strategy vary widely among firm and range from no scheduling to very sophisticated approaches. These strategies are grouped into four classes: detailed scheduling, cumulative scheduling, cumulative detail, property decision rules. When we see detailed scheduling is specific jobs that are arrived from customer in impracticable to in actual manufacturing situation. Cumulative in scheduling, cumulative scheduling to work at total workload in useful, especially the long-range planning and capacity needs. Cumulative details combination is both feasible and practical approach. Property decision rules. Property decision rules are scheduling guides that use independently and conjunction which one of the above strategy. Example per scrum per serve. The two types of scheduling. Scheduling can be categorized the forward scheduling and backward scheduling. Forward scheduling is commonly used in job shop where customer placed into order no need as soon as possible basis. Backward scheduling is often used to assembly type industry and comment in advance to specific delivery dates. And also the scheduling methodology. The scheduling methodology defined upon the type of industry, organization, production, and level of certification required. They are charts and board, property decision rules, and mathematical programming method. Excuse me. First is Gantt chart and board. Gantt chart and associated scheduling board have been extensively used scheduling device in the past, although many of the charts are known drawn by computer. Gantt chart are Gantt chart are extremely easy to understand and can quickly reveal the current planned situation of concern. They are used in several forms, namely. Bali, di ka sa diba doon yung Gantt chart. Diba saan mga ng basta malinya-linya din. Ang magsasabi ng something. Basta scheduling or progress chart which depict the sequential schedule. Load chart which show the work assigned to the group of worker machines, and record a chart which are used to record the actual operating times and delay of the worker and machines. Property decision rules are simplified guidelines that determine the sequence which jobs will be done. In some terms, these rules take the place to property planning system such as MRP system. What they load ko mo dito ako ma-search dyan na yung ng MRP system. Mathematical program methods. Scheduling is complex resource allocation problem, firm process, capacity labor system, materials, and they seek to allocate their use so as the maximize a profit to serve object to perhaps meet to demand while minimizing cost. The following are some of the model used in scheduling and production control is linear programming method and PERT CRM network model. When we see linear programming method, a model, here all they constrains the object function and are formulated as a linear equation, and then problems solved to optimality. Simplex method, transportation method, and assignment method are major methods used here. PERT, a CRM network, is the network showing the sequence of operation for object and precedence location, a relation between the activities to be completed. Kislet is coping with runaway capacity needed. And the producer of electronic home appliances, including BHS Video Home System Technology, recorders location in Northern California. The package product with about 35 kilograms ESCOM ka diyan. Was not the inventor the system rather than managers sat back and let RCA and other develop of the market. That is ESCOM and currently producing under license agreement. ESCOM has a conscious strategy of being a follower with new product invention. ESCOM is established in 10% market share position and feels that it can least maintain this position. If it has the needed capacity, it could possibly improve its market share if competitor fails to provide capacity all the time it is needed. And that's all. Thank you. Pasensya na ka mo. Igil ko man ibasa. And good luck.